media casting tubasime bari kusubscribing no kuranya video zite kuno subscribe yakano turikinga today biro mwenda wakasatu 2026 Honorable Rugumayo Edson yagiza na timu ya technical team kuruga office ya Prime Minister ba meetinga district leadership chairman RC5 kao na office of the RDC ba meetinga n'abantu abahireyo interest yo kugira ngo bitakambaruguza wowe cyona cyerekerire okushyikiriza directive ya president yahirwa na Serwa Karuru kugira ngo abantu Ntoroko district ababiri displaced by floods babase kufuna umwanya babatekemo abantu abo bari mu sub counties like Butungama kandi ba sub county arimo abari muri sub county office of the prime minister is details abantu zine so yasindika technical team kurangu ebintu byona byazo mateka abantu babariza itaka irikire iri kugira ngo baza kumaho for their life until my president Museveni araho mataraho konka itaka ryabo mena kubahereza permanent so tubakaguruka bakafaga abantu kubahereza when they have not seen all the details in neighborhood zina bahi byapa nebyamazima kebyo so details mu muntu basa kurikiza video kiherezo bwire planning because we have recorded everything and they were planning no kubacho muderizo bari yanchakare nabaza kwasesingaga amataka technical team nyini negenda kushika ground kurebaga amataka vuga kusa nataye na kezere heki zitano n'amazima heki 5 ninganina umchapa rumwese ebiryo muchapa nibyo bya ground so video giherezo bwire God bless you
yangi nyowe Rugumayo Edson member of parliament anyakomere hawisaza eno Ntoroko kirukino tutungira urwato rwo mu abantu abakuruga mu ministries zitakusana office of the prime minister, minister of lands, minister of water, justice egendo cyabo bizire gukora gucumi kweta assessment rundi kurambura cyo kurungi president yabere akaragira yagamba abantu abatiwa amezi abanyamuri bicweka ya Kanara Sub County Kanara Town Council ukendi Butungama Kamasaka Budiba nende ya Bwere Kayanja na Ibale nende ya Rusengo ka Kiranga yatiwa amezi kasigara kira ati abantu abo batungira itaka hambere basubira kugenda bitungo president yakoze directive hakabaho obwango bw'amana muno team yeja mbwango prime minister yeja mbwango bimwe bintu byakorwa bitagendire mu tendero yabyo so na weki team wenu izire kugaruka enyuma ikakora ibintu bikatekereza kurungi bakayija bakora evaluation ya land batakozera assessment yokusanga itaka iliyo nisemera kubandika bama abantu so na weki team wenu izire kubanja kugumya abantu bona abahiri okwetaga kwabo kutunda amataka hard government enda kubanja kakasa abantu abo amataka kwenda kutunda ubwo marungi abantu basubira kwikaramu rero barakamalekyo kibayambe government kongera kwijye kapema ikamanya umuhendo kwitaka buno binanake kiranze nabo boko barakamara kurenza WhatsApp kiyambi tabe bese kodreza bwako twagenda kwa hando shua sente consente yambi okwetakiwa mafurwe bagore bicheke bishaka amasomero engudo zombekerwe n'abatunge primere gukora kurango bakora
other steps zo kurango cyangwa cyangwa
directive ya president eno no baraba bazire bahindura mbaenda kugonjora insogizi nyakulemu bahiro week yonka kwa bazire kwa report yabo hanyuma yo kurambura itaka bahiro week yonka then hanyuma ya week office of the prime minister nija kuba ne tekaniza ikikweta cabinet memo rudikandike genda mu cabinet cyo kusaba sente zamazire kumwezi kweta kisibwa zije so ntunihira ngo bano barakakora muri mugwabo mu week then mu bire bira taito bija ko biri kusaba sente ziraba zetagisiwe government sole kuba nezitekaho nuko abantu abo basubole kuba abantu yatungira itaka kandi nibafuruka bagaruka itaka bizira so kuruga government ambera atungira sente nebindi tusobora kubanya hati twine kwikiriza ngu bigenda kukura mu bwangu kandi tukujya kuyamba kwica ibyo bikozere mu bwangu kandi abantu abatumira.
To look at the accessibility to services and what we can recommend. What I'm saying is that a health facility not being within reach does not mean that the land cannot be used for a settlement. It means that we need to recommend it to be considered as a package in what government is doing, because you can't resettle people and you leave them to walk for 20 kilometers government standard. So I had shared a copy of the terms of reference. It's a bit detailed and I don't want to, maybe I've given some examples. I've already given some examples of what is going to be done under each category. There are things we are going to do when we are here. For example, it's very important for in the community where this land is. Quite often we've seen mistakes where technical people sat down and recommended the purchase of land where they can't even access because of conflicts in ownership. Everyone is claiming. So we want to see, can we access the land really with you? Somewhere the owner said, I sold to those people land. He could not even tell who those people are. I sold to those people land. So we intend to hold a similar meeting or meetings in at least a few areas that we can sample or we can hold in all, so that the team looking at ownership can be assured that the land we are talking about indeed belongs to the owners presented. So there are a number of activities that each team is going to do. I will not go into the details of that because I think they know it better, and it is within all that big area, because you want to look at the plant species. So we intend to use a drone, which again requires clearance from the security team, which if not, then we shall have no option but to walk, but we shall not also complete if we walk. So if they clear us, Kasese District Local Government has got a drone, and that was positioned there by OPM to help us in such assignment in this sub-region. So we shall be able to pick it and deploy that drone tomorrow over that area, as shall be required by the environment team to make their work easy. Otherwise, if we ask them to, they will work every day, but I can assure you they will not complete. And if they don't complete, then it is to our disadvantage. But with the technologies available and with the permission that, with the prayers we hope shall be granted by the security team, of course we expect you also to be on board, not let them work alone. Because we are now a technical working group the way we are, not only the Kampala team. We are all going to work with this people to make sure they collect the kind of data they need and they give us the report that will guide our way forward. So what is important at the end of the day is we need a report that will tell us that the land is suitable for the purpose for which we want it. The rest of the details shall be guided by the legal mind on how to proceed. Colleagues, you may all agree that I think we had jumped so many steps, but now with this kind of process we should be able to fix everything right and move in a good way. In terms of have much time for this assignment, actually this team was assigned 1 week, but with your support, I do hope that we can even take less than that to complete the assignment and submit the report to the decision makers for consideration. Briefly, this is all I can say. I will not go into this one of duration and of the technical working group. I think the technical working group will remain in place until the mission is accomplished. I beg to submit.
Need to be settled so that we pick candidate areas. You scope around candidate areas. Scoped against the encumbrances we're talking about. How far is it from the proposed conservation area? how much area is encompassed by wetlands, yes. How much area is unproductive and what uses can it be put in. So if you have those questions to be answered, so that we can know where schools, roads, hospitals, dwellings can be built, then we need that complete picture.
I think we can answer this together with the second number because we have this information in the reports and we don't want to misquote figures that are going to be used for planning. Second number, for example, has the number of households that he has been attending to the displacement. And I also have access to documents that I can share with you after the meeting, the reports of the previous assessments carried out between the OPM and the district that provide the size of land required to settle those people. So allow us to provide you with this information after the meeting.
Then the other question how I have, you have said the area is going to be...
And I'm careful. We politicians tend to interfere so much in technical work. So I wanted to keep away. However, there are some things that I felt were important. I understand that the team, in choosing to present to us your terms of references, meant that they were not cast in stone as you developed them. When you present them to us here, because you're not going to be working at the central government level only, you're going to have a lot of support from the local government. You will allow us guide a little bit to enrich the terms of references. Because in the end, the report that you write will also help us to push. For example, your report, should it be ready in 1 week, I am expected to write to the president and ask for provision of funds as part of my job as an advocate. So when the report is very fine and is from end to end, it helps me to advocate for something that is clear and candid. Number one, I would beg that, as you have suggested, Emma, that this technical working group not be limited to the CGV report of lands that were already inspected and valued. This working group, since you are here to cure the anomaly of the type of procurement we were going into, which would cause many audit queries. If you had gone ahead and you found me in park, I would pretend like I'm not from Ntoroko. I query you 10 times. For example, there are so many people who submitted interest to sell their land. How did you choose to go with 2? That would be a very big question in the park, and you would sweat to answer. How do you single out only the 2? Only the 2 were valued, only the 2 were assessed, and only the 2 were forwarded. So that would be a very big question. That is why I think some of these people are here. Those who had forwarded their interest and have not been considered. If this working group can agree and we include them, you also put it under your scope. Number 2 was proposing. From onset, your group should be able to bring out the need is the displaced persons, the affected persons. That should be able to help us quantify how much land we need. So if we know how much land we need, that means we should widen our sample space from where we should choose the land. So I think those are very important. You capture in the beginning that your TORs were also to determine how many people are affected and which areas. And by the way, some of this we are handling is already captured in a cabinet, in a directive of the president to cabinet, already captured. So anything that veers from that can cause also many questions. The president the cabinet secretary was very clear in his directive to capture the people of Kanara sub-county, Budiba, Masaka, including areas of Kayanja 1, 2, and 3. So some of these things come out clearly in your report. The other issue was the provision of amenities, as Kao has already mentioned. It would be of your interest as a team to understand that we have people who were displaced, and almost half a sub-county was displaced. Among the amenities that were submerged are schools, health centers, roads. Some of these things are things that need to appear very well in your report for planning, such that in the end, when we are pushing this to the president, we are only just not seeking for money to buy a piece of land. We are doing something very comprehensive. It will be upon Muzei to say, we shall segment it and go halfway, procure land, but it should be our job to make sure everything is encompassed and put in the report. And then also, another thing which is important, should be able to guide as a team, what is the agreed acreage per person who is going to benefit from the resettlement. So these are things that I feel are important in your TORs to make sure that the report that comes out of this assessment is complete enough and will be our tool for advocacy. So I recommend that one, we widen the space, sample space, have more land. I don't know, Doctor, is your land titled? Yes. Oh, cow. How many people think that report will help us? And two, the district here will help us quantify the amount of amenities, road kilometers, and schools and what is needed in that area. But we had also proposed that from the beginning, from the onset, we work with OPM to make sure that this is not just a buy land and resettle project. This should be something that provides even housing. So we wanted it to increase the scope to that level. So I felt I should make my input at this level, but I don't wait up to the end. Thank you very much.
Look for land where people can be resettled. We all know there was a lot of debate that we wanted even to be in the park, but it was not possible. And even now we have heard that now they have elevated the game reserve to a national park. So it was more than impossible than like resettling people within the park. So the only option was to look for land where these people can be resettled. So we received interested parties who wanted to sell their land to the government for this particular purpose, and we submitted a report to the office of the OPM, and some of the plots and blocks which are captured, 307 folio 3, that is block 163, plot 41 at Chenyangi, that was the 99.7110 hectares. There is also block 163, plot 233 at Kibira, which is equivalent to 73.2010 hectares. There's another one which is block 163, plot 42 at Chenyangi, which is equivalent to 100.3790 hectares. There's another one which was block 163, plot 39, land at Chenyangi, approximately 99.8160 hectares. There was also block 1, approximately 42.2160 hectares. Another one was block 163, plot 232, land at Chenyangi, which was approximately 46.8960 hectares. And another one was block 163, plot 40 at Chenyangi, also approximately 99.8160 hectares. And all these plots and blocks have been captured in the report. This is the land in question that is owned by Charles Kasoro and Mpaka and Mwamba, who are also here. The unfortunate bit, we also submitted another land which is owned by Dr. Simwe Brand, which was received by the OPM office on the 3rd of April 2025. And this is also titled land.
This is the property is Dr. Simo Brian. It is block 163, plot 192. So this land was not captured in the report. The rationale, which has to be explained by the office of the OPM and the other technical team that came to verify on the ground. The size of this land is 108.0279 hectares. That is for Asimo and Brian Chris. Also, we also received 2 titles which are in the names of Bomera Happy. He's also here and he's also having interest in also selling his land to the OPM for the same purpose. But these titles are not yet with the office of the OPM. But he has expressed interest of also selling his land. So the viability and the suitability is for this technical team, but when we also did our field visit, I went with the physical planner and the senior environment officer, and we also looked at the suitability of this land, and also had the benefit to move with the technical team that came from the office of the OPM when they were verifying. Though we didn't have enough time, but one of the rationale that they gave at that time as to why they didn't capture the Dr. Simo Brian and the Happy Bomera, when they picked the grid of that land, and also went and picked the grid at the camp where the floods are. Their reasoning was there is high chances that this land may also be hit by the floods in future. And they were looking at value for money, putting the money for the government at risk, whereby they buy the land, they settle people, and tomorrow they are also hit by the flood. That was the rationale that I was given verbally at that particular time, that they can able to report. But it was also captured in their report, though the cow said that indeed it is very true, we didn't receive that report, but I have had the benefit of perusing through the report, which I received through other channels, but not officially communicated to my cow for us to discuss or give in our input. So, and that rationale was also captured in that report. That reasoning was also captured in that particular report. And at the same time, me as a senior management officer were also concerned. Yes, the chief government valuer, they value and give the value of all the land within the country. But how they also rushed in making a report and putting
potential sellers most power system institutions to identify available space where people can settle. Because now our work is going to be blocked by the back and forth. We have come to assess this area, this amount of land, but then there are others who have additional land. It's ought to have assessed how much land is available with respect to owner. Then the district approaches people who want to pass to land, determine whether they are going to sell. That's one. Second, I am assuming from the process that is going now right now that there are people who have come and are willing to sell to government. The question I'm putting to you is whether this person of land is free. That's one. Two, can you share this report? Money from that process. Help us extract this. You also said that there was some bit of evacuation in these areas which happened. You have these reports because here it's time like you want something I can think. Can you share these reports? I hear that your committee also found parcel of land that was at risk of flooding. Which one of these lands is this parcel about here? Which one? Each. That is parcel
will for our people, because in Ntoroko almost most of the sub-counties were being affected. But when you go to see the value that you gave this piece of land, for sure it should be the first thing on the table to discuss. Either proceed, but because when you invite even your drone to go and do activities, the government money will be spending for nothing. At the end of the day, it will not work out. Because when you see the value, I was together with those people. They were rushing as if there was something wrong. I don't know, they were under fear because the president was visiting us. So they came with a high speed, they reached the place, I don't know where they picked even the value, without even coming here the district to see the value. The land in Ntoroko is valued at which price. And when you go to the report and see the value, it's less than 3 million per acre. I said, if that land is available, I can also buy it. So whatever we are going to discuss, the key is the value. Because all those people who are interested to sell, they will not sell land at less than 3 million in Uganda. And unless somewhere in the different countries of the world. The value which was given was so small. And for us, the 3 people, we wrote to the Prime Minister, rejecting the value and say, you come and make the valuation. Otherwise, we are not interested. Sell at that value. So whatever we are doing today, let us first take back to the point number 1, because that was the purpose of them coming for all of these activities. They get to the value, they tell us, we are interested to buy at this value. Either this is a willing sale and willing buy. So my request is, we first look at the value. If you go to the report and see how much money was given per acre, it's not really, I don't know if it was done in goodwill. There's no land in Ntoroko, and the little we have is at the low value. Does that make sense? These 2 pieces of land are in a raised place. We usually even to request the government to give us part of the national park, which is now the national park. And good enough, we are neighboring with the park. That means we are at the same level. The attitude is the same. There is a new road which is going to be constructed from Karugutu via up to Ntoroko. We are going to neighbor with this tarmac road. So the value is very high. We are demanding money. So we shouldn't, this is business. If you want to give us, we have to talk about the money. Otherwise, we are not interested. Some of us, these are our ranches. We have thousands of cows there. And good enough, we are going there today. So I'm looking at the money where I'm going to allocate my cows in the next part of the country. I have goats over 1,000. I have cows over 1,000. And you give my land value at less than 2 million. Does that make sense? For sure. So for us here, and even all those who are interested to sell, let us look at the value. Then we value this land so that it can also give us interest to sell. Thank you so much.
That whatever is meant to go to land is taken. That's why we are here recording everything. And that's why I even need more information. Whatever you can give us, please share with us so that we can come up with one report that will be owned by land, so that they address the issues that are being raised. Personally, I'm not competent enough to talk about evaluation. Maybe my legal friend here can talk about it and other things that have been mentioned. But the purpose of this meeting is to pick up all the concerns, like they have already been coming out, so that we come up with one report to guide the decision making. So it will help us with a copy of what you submitted to the Prime Minister, plus the copies of your reports. so that we can start from there when we get back. May I request my colleague, Mark? Maybe should I reserve you? Who should I reserve last? I reserve him last. Okay, you hold on there.
Banks and lecturers. So I want to believe that your team did that mitigation when giving out these titles, because if that happened, you'll have to go back and cut out those boundaries as one part. So for the landowners, please, as long as the land is suitable, it will be re-evaluated. What lowers your land value are these things we're talking about. If it is in a swamp, it is near a lake shore, within a buffer zone, within a river buffer zone, that is not to be validated because you will not have to sell that part of the land. And then the other stakeholder we don't have here, cow, is now UWA. UWA is a primary stakeholder now because from his information, they are neighbors. So we would like to know 20, 30, 40, 30 and above, which animals does UWA envision to bring to Semiliki National Park now? Will it be the big buffaloes? Will it be something like that, so that we know that if people are within a range of 10 kilometers, there will be human-animal conflict, which would have been created by us ourselves again. And you have to go back to the cost of building fencing, which is expensive. So these are things we need to think about now and avoid the future problems. So UWA is a stakeholder we need to bring on board in the future engagements, and also in land identification of the boundaries. Doesn't any boundary given a title conflict with the UWA boundary? If not, then it is okay. Natural Resource Officer, you can also identify for us any forest reserve within. If there is a local forest reserve, if it is not, then we are okay. So this is what makes your land suitable for government to buy, and the value keeps going up if all those things are not there. And then, like discussion said, people to be resettled in this land, are they in terms of household or in terms of persons? Some people have more than one wife, therefore those could be 3 households headed by one person. Not so. Or you say it is one household headed, I don't know how they do it. If I have 2 women, I'm a Hajj. Are those 2 households or one household? Those are issues to think about CDO team and avoid mistakes. If you say a household will have 1 acre, but the man has 2, 3 women, does he get 1 acre or does he get 3 acres? It is something that will happen somewhere where we are working, and it brings conflict after work is done. It is something you need to think now before you reach that crossing line. It is something hidden, but it happens. Then I was reading the report for Ntoroko, disaster risk report 2014. Most of Ntoroko is a flood risk area, and the key risks in the targeted land areas of, is it Webisengo? Webisengo, all areas have flood as the highest risk. It is a district report, you should be able to have it. If you don't have, please interest yourself in it. There is drought, so there is both flood and drought. The other one is earthquakes, because those ones are, the ranking also puts it at number 8. Then there are pests and diseases for both animals and crops. So the people of agriculture, this is the area of interest. If you buy land near the park and people they are going to do cropping, what pests are in the park? Cross grazing, like we are having in Imburo. Let us not introduce or carry new problems to the community, and they have economic losses after being resettled. So these are issues we need to think about now to make the land suitable. So for the landowner, just your land will be bought, but these are issues we need to look at as government to avoid future problems to people who will be given an opportunity to live in those lands. So that report we need to look at into also as a team, and appreciate it as a district report, that there's flooding as a risk. So like, where would you put people again in the flood zone area? But where would we take them? Will the individual receive them? Will the Fort Portal receive them? Will the police receive them? And then there is a silent issue that used to be here. You know that we have Kanyatava and Ntoroko oil fields. I think this is Ntoroko, right? I remember coming here sometime back. We also need to put this in perspective. Maybe government can again relicense these areas, and you know that this is what also can inform the value of the land in the future. If the value is 3 million per acre now, what if oil is found? Will it stay the same? So these are issues we need to think about to call for reevaluation, OPM, to come back. So I wanted to submit to you that the aspects you're not looking at, those three things: the aspect of oil, will they come back or not? Aspect of WUA, aspect of the reserves for the forest, wetlands, and streams. Because even the names of the streams which serve in Ntoroko are in that report. Semiliki, Wasa, is it what? Those, there are four, 5 rivers. That report has all the things. So you don't want to buy land which has a forest reserve. Therefore, in the process of buying this land, we also would like to demarcate off these boundaries. For a small river like Semiliki has 100 meters. The rest of the rivers will be having 30-meter buffer zones. We'd also be interested to demarcate off these buffer zones so that people can have water, but also not again be affected by small flooding problems in case they encroach in those areas. Thank you so much.
Okay, yes, colleagues and members. The most pertinent issue which has been raised is to do with evaluation. So I was proposing that okay, you raise a serious issue and you need to be concerned to get value for money. So I was proposing maybe you can get your own valuation, come up with your own report, submit it to the CGV, requesting for a revaluation. Okay, then that's okay. Maybe we'll follow it up. Okay, then it will be followed up. Then secondly, I see some of the challenges we are facing is that all of them they are catered for and they are addressed under the PPD Act. Because you see, whenever government is supposed to procure anything, including land, we are supposed to follow the law. And following the law, it protects us and it also protects you. So because I had someone saying that what criteria did they use to arrive at the 2 people whose land is going to be purchased? So I think maybe the responsible officers, the accounting officers, maybe we can follow the law, the PPD Act. You invite people who are interested in selling the land. They are offering their land. You set out the criteria, the terms which you want. Like for instance, this land need not to be near a forest reserve, a national park, a wetland, something like that. So I think maybe the beginning point, what we have to do is just follow the PPD Act. Look at the method of procurement, what is suitable in the circumstances of procuring this land. Because I see, okay, there is no, okay, right now it seems that there is no order as when we are trying to procure this land. So I think maybe if at all we do follow the PPD Act, it will help us very, very much, and all of us will get value for money, because most of the issues they are raising, they are catered for there. That's all I have to say.
Bigger than the response we are getting, because for us we have the affected and those who are displaced. So if you talk about the people in Ntoroko who are affected by floods or climate change, because these floods are climate change induced. If you talk about those people, there are very many, there are very many, because as of last year, 2024, September, October, November, with the assessment from the NGOs partners, 24,000 people in Ntoroko were found to have been affected by floods. Of those, 9,360 are living in internally displaced camps, flood camps. On other people's lands, they are paying rent. Now that those people did not favor him in the last election, the man may withdraw his favor. It is natural. And then the MP say, removed it. I'm giving you things, services, but you don't appreciate. So what is your problem? You are not a good person. You don't have good faith. Let me withdraw. So equally, I'm not saying I'm going to withdraw my advocacy. The advocacy has always been there because my heart is always like that. So for me, I have been thinking about the issue of livelihoods very passionately because I've seen in the case of Bududa, the displaced people who were taken to Kiriandong ran away because of the issue of livelihoods. So these people who are living in the camps, in the 7 camps, Ruenyana, Kajweka, Katunguru 1, Katunguru 2, this other Bududa, Kachwankumu, and others are fishermen. For us to reconstruct Ruangara Primary School, we have even the letter in your files cow. It is there now. So we can think about, because now when you say this land is close to the lake, it may also later submerge, then are we going to remove the health center which we reconstructed OPM at 830 million? Are we going to remove the sub-county headquarters? Are we going as well to resettle even the people in that area? I think not. I have seen the raised parts in the place I'm talking about. For them to get submerged, the entire lower land, Web Sengo, will have been submerged. And Guramula, I want to assure you, theirs is better because it is raised. And it is going to help us look for these cut-off farmers. Let's not only cater for only fishermen, we also forget for our cattle keepers. They also need to be taken care of by government. I have a feeling if we get these pieces of land for the thing, it is going to roof a sabuka.
The same one. So what shall we do? So I think we now need to have a balanced one to take a middle position. Then I think what he has brought out clearly is let's go by the wishes. Even when the Prime Minister was there, people said, the community said, we are fishing community. Even the Honorable Member of Parliament also said it. That is a fishing community. Now, if you say you are removing a fishing community from that side and you are taking, then you are killing their what?
They must create.
They are going to abandon the land inside. They go back and would have not have what? Would have not have addressed the what? The issue. So thank you so much, Chairman.
Welcome, Cow.
Thank God that you came. You have given your view.
Thank you,
Let me now invite my RDC. I think they can sort out.
Chairperson, my colleague, the assistant RDC, members from the center, protocol observed, lady and gentlemen. I am happy that this process is taking root. From the President's directive, we should have done it yesterday because the people are really suffering for the last 6-7 years. The quicker we undertake this exercise and resettle the people, these other nitty-gritties can be sorted out as long as we can agree as a technical working group, but shouldn't delay the process of resettling our suffering people. The earlier we did that, the earlier we expedited that process. I was happy with the team leader when he said, while we needed a week, we can do it in days. As security, I would like to assure you that whatever requirement is from our office, we shall provide. Apologies from the DPC. He had an engagement, that's why he's not here. From the other colleagues that were supposed to be invited here. But would like to assure you that we shall accord it the necessary support that it requires for us to carry out this process. Many of the issues have been tackled, and I was only worried when the issue of valuation and evaluation came in. I thought it was going to delay and derail us, but from the discussion, everything is now sorted out. That means we are good to go. Thank you very much. Thank you for this meeting.
Allow me now to take the opportunity to invite our
Things had been done in the past. I understand things were done hurriedly because it was a presidential directive done in a rally and things needed to move fast. But also government procedures are very important, that nothing should be left behind. So I thank you for sitting back and making sure you come back and do things the right way. I also want to thank the district because I have seen the willingness and the compassion from the people that I've interacted with to provide all necessary information. And I want to ask the technical working team, let us join and move together as one, because in the end what we are discussing here is going to affect that young lady, that young man who is growing up in a camp in a very frustrating lifestyle. If you would get lucky and reach the camp, you'd know what kind of people we are discussing now. See, we are here under good fresh air, but there are some people who are sleeping under tarpaulins. They have accommodation where someone enters a shed and the legs sleep outside. By the time he wakes up tomorrow, the legs are covered in dew and they are very cold. We have young children who are struggling there with pneumonia because they can't have enough cover on themselves. We have many young people who have lost their future because of growing up in a very unconducive environment of being in a couple. So in the end, whatever we are doing as a team affects the life of someone, and I would urge us that whatever we do in good spirit. To wrap up this, I must say, if we identify here and agree, and because this has been a process, and we have been shaping it over time. I recall when the disaster minister came here, we seemed to agree as all stakeholders, who was from your side, that government would be generous enough to provide at least 2 acres of land per household of the affected person. That one was done. The visit of the disaster minister here was able to inform government on the extent of the affected area. I thank the local government, Ntoroko district local government, for putting up this wonderful document. I encourage the technical working committee to revise this document. It will give you candid data that will help you, because from there alone you are able to determine. If we have 4,021 households, and we had agreed somewhere in a meeting to provide 2 acres per household, means we roughly need around 8,040 something acres of land. If you assess what is already provided here is less than half. We only have 2,000. Means we still need some 6,000 acres of land. The commitment on my side is I'm going to work with you. That's why I had to drive this morning from Kampala, because this lies at the center of my heart. That should your report be done by next week, I am willing, because at a certain point I was supposed to write to the president and say, ever since you mentioned this at the rally, nothing has been done. But I said, let me be realistic enough, come be part of this meeting. Your report will inform us. We inform the president. I spoke to PS Alex the other day before he went for leave. We agreed when he comes back from leave, first thing cabinet memo should be about Ntoroko. I understand the cabinet memo that has gone excluded Ntoroko. I almost shed a tear when I understood they were only going to discuss those areas and Ntoroko was not part of. So the earliest you do this report will help us. We shall lobby. If it means lobbying for space on the cabinet paper, we shall lobby for it. If it means lobbying the president, we shall lobby for it until this comes to fruition. So I'm here to affirm that we have your if we have your support and we also support you, we shall do what is required and we shall help our people. Thank you very much. We hope whatever we have said here has been captured, and we look forward to a partnership to ensure this comes to pass. We help our people.
So members, we need to thank